Today we're going to just spend a little time getting familiarized with Shotcut. Um, like as I said, if you've got it on your laptop, go ahead and open it. It's not going to look exactly wow, cannot talk. It's not going to look exactly like what you are seeing up here just yet, because I'm showing you a project that I'm currently working on. In fact, it's my project for showing the example of how this project is done for you guys. So, all the same, I want you to see how the interface looks. All right. So when you open, you're probably going to have a thing up here that says, I forget exactly what it says. Let me see. This is what yours probably looks like. Where there's this right here that says new project, and it wants you to like enter in a name for your project and all that. Down here, yours is probably blank, like this is now that I've pulled it up like this. There's a bunch of stuff over here that's talking about exporting. I don't know why they have it as default when you open this up that it's showing the export tab, because you literally have nothing to export, but there it is. All right. This is how mine currently looks. So I just want to introduce you to some of the stuff that you see. All right. So when you open up and begin a project in Shotcut, this area right here is what we refer to as the preview pane. Right? It previews what your video looks like, or if you're looking at any of your imported files, it'll allow you to see them there. Down below is what we call the timeline. The timeline, very similarly to those layers that we looked at in GIMP, layers the different videos that you have and audio that you have. So right now, right underneath where it says output here, I have a thing here that says V1. That V1 stands for video 1, bless you. If I had multiple video layers stacked on top of each other, there'd be V2, V3, however many I needed. And for the project that I'm working on, I have two audio tracks, A1 and A2. And if I scroll along through here, you can see the timeline of the video made up of different bits and pieces that have been cut from videos, and then all of this sound down here on these two layers below it. All right, we'll see how that plays out when we actually, in a moment, when we see how it plays when we actually click to play it. But first off, right now, over here in this pane, right, we have the preview pane. Over here where it says jobs, this is the pane that's going to show different export jobs as you export them. We'll get there. Don't even worry about that. Just if you're curious what this dark gray rectangle over here is about, that's what it is. Over here in this pane, right, a lot of important stuff happens for us over here. Right now, it's clicked on export. You see these little tabs down here: properties, playlists, filters, export. Right now, it's on export. All right, we can come over here, let's say, to playlist. The playlist can be thought of as a little cache, if you will, where we put all of our video, sound, images, whatever that we want to use to work on this project. So right now, I've got up here this little bit of music that I want to play in mine, so it's been imported. If I double click on it, it's going to pop up in the preview pane. Anything that you play, you can hit the space bar to stop it from playing, right? And the space bar to start it. Right? Below that, I've got the image of my title card that I made. Then I've got a couple of videos that I shot for my intro and outro. I told you I wanted to have like the sound of like the forest going on in some of the reading that I would be doing. So I found this. All right. We'll talk about how to find sound effects in a bit too. Then I've got my video of me actually reading. Oh yeah, and a few more sounds. A couple of which I think may not have even used. All right. So this is where all that stuff is stored, and then I can drag it down into my timeline down here. That's the playlist. Properties you probably aren't going to deal with very much for this project. But if I click on something in the timeline so that it's selected, it just tells me the properties of it. Right now, it's running at 1 time speed, meaning it's just running at regular speed. It tells me how long the clip that I've clicked on is, where in the timeline it starts. I guess maybe where it ends, actually. I'm not sure. What's this 29? What is this? Is this where... I don't know what that's about. 29. Oh, this is the full length of the full clip. This 29 seconds is how much the clip is in the timeline. I understand now. And it lets me look at like the audio and metadata. This isn't something you're not going to use very often you're not going to use it all probably for this project. The only time I even use this is if I need to speed up or slow down a clip. Say, it often ends up happening, say, in the drawing classes when I've made recordings for the drawing class. Well, there are long periods of time where I'm just sitting there drawing and not talking. So I'll go over here until it say, do that at like 3 times speed. So it can just be like zip, 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 and the drawing is done, right? You probably are not even going to have to worry about it. I just wanted to let you know it's there. All right? The playlist and the filters are what we'll probably use most in here. What the filters are is, say in this particular clip, I wanted it, let me start from the beginning of the clip.
Hello, everyone.
To fade in. And then at the end,
let's check it out.
I wanted it to fade out. That kind of thing you find in the filters. Right up here, you'll notice it says up here, video fade in video and fade out video. Those are filters that I added to this little bit of video. All right. If I want to play something in the timeline, let me mute that real quick. No, not that one. This one. All right, I'll click up here where it shows the time codes. All right, that puts what is called the playhead at a specific spot. And then from there I can hit
today
the space bar to play it
for you.
You can watch as it moves along. Here I've got this these magnifying glasses with the plus and minus. This allows me to zoom into or out of the timeline. If I need to, say, work on little fine, minute stuff, like I need to trim off like just a second or a fraction of a second off of a clip, I might want to zoom in tighter. Or if I need to just see the entire timeline, I can zoom all the way out. And there's my whole timeline squished over there. I usually keep things at about that spot. No, I don't. That's even smaller than where I usually keep it. All right. Yeah, because I usually like where I have a marker for 5, 10, 15, 20, so on. All right, you'll discover what you like as you work. Now, does everybody have a video file that you could bring into this? A yes or a no, something. Okay, you guys have not shot your video yet. Okay. that kind of puts a little bit of a damper on what I was planning to do right now. I can show you, but my plan had been that we would work on it together. But okay, let me start a new one then. Yes, save the changes I made. All right. So again, when you open this up for the very first time, you're going to have a completely blank project. You'll give it a name. I'll call this I Want My Hat Back. And if you have a Windows computer, Shotcut is going to have done two things. It's going to have created a file called I Want My Hat Back. But if you open up a viewer window, and over here on the side, you come down to videos, it will also have created a folder right here, I Want My Hat Back, and it will have put that file in there. All right, so this becomes a place where you could also, whenever you need to find and work on this project, you can always click on videos, scroll down to the name of your folder, and there it'll be. All right, now, if I want to start my project, well, I got nothing in here right now. Well, as I've been asking you to do, and will continue to do from here on out, is you have that folder. Where is my folder? There it is, read aloud. That should have right now probably just your GIMP file where you were working on your title card. But eventually you're going to be sticking your videos in here. Should you grab any sound effects, you'll stick them in here as well. All these have like something that looks like a record on them. That's a sound effect that I've downloaded. All right. So over here in Shotcut, I would click on my playlist, which again right now is empty. And I would just start dragging all the stuff that I'm going to want in there. And I'll often do it in the order that I expect to use them. I know I'm going to need my title card first, so I'll put that in here. When you put something in for the first time like this, it's going to try to play it. So I'm just hitting spacebar to stop it from playing that. That's just my title card. It converts it into a video clip so that it's playable. I'll need my music. What was that music called? Where's my music? What happened to it? Oh, it's right here because it's got artwork. This corn cob, that's that banjo music. All right, then I'll need my opening video, which is this one. Then I'm going to need my video where I read, which is this one. Then I'll need my closing. And then I'm just going to grab all of the sound effects that I have picked out. I'm just going to, what I'm doing is I'm holding Control and I'm just clicking on all these sound effects. That's all of them. All right. And I'll just drag those in here. Boom. All right. So I've got everything I need. There's my title card, my music, my 3 videos, and then all of my sound effects that I want. All right. We might spend some time today either talking about how to download that stuff, or we might work on this your title card some more, since you guys don't have a video to actually put in here. All right, but once I've done this, here's how simple this is. All right, I take my title card. I know that's the first thing I want. So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to put it down here on the timeline. Boom. It now establishes a V1 video track. All right, but I want my music to play at the same time. But right now, there's not an audio track down here. And if I grab my music and bring it down to the timeline, you see it's just going to stick it on the same track as the video. I don't want that. So you see this little button here that looks like some lines stacked up? That's because it's meant to look like those layers that you have stacked up in your timeline. So clicking on this lets me do stuff with those layers, those tracks rather. And I can tell it to add an audio track. Or if I have a good memory and I can remember all of the hotkey things, I can just hit Control U. All right, there's an audio track down there now, A1. So I'm going to take my music. Where'd it go? There it is. All right, and I'll drag it down here. And I want it to start at the same spot as my video. Now, when it comes to images, it by default sets your image at about 5 seconds on the timeline, but you can stretch it and make it bigger. So when you are at a point where you're ready to put in your title card and music, your music's probably going to be longer than what you want. I don't need an intro that's going to go on for over a minute, like a minute and 5 seconds. I just need a few seconds of music. So what I would suggest you do is hit play, listen to your music, and at the point where you're like, nope, that's where I would like it to end, we'll stop it. All right, so I'm going to let this play for just a moment. And I think about right there, that'll be enough for my intro. So now, how do I then trim off all this? I don't want all this extra stuff. I only want everything from here to the playhead. And get that term in your head, because playhead becomes an important word to remember. Wherever this line is the playhead. What I can do is I can click on my audio here, and I can do this with any clip that I have in the timeline. I'll right-click on this. Come on. And down here where it says split at playhead, excuse me. Or I could, as you see, the hotkey is just to type an S. I could just hit S. If I click on that, you see it splits that track, or not that track, that clip in two, this piece of music. I can now click on this part here that I don't want and hit delete. Gone. But now I want this to continue all the way out here. So I can click on it. You're always going to want to make sure that whatever clip or music or what have you that you want to be affecting is the one that has a red line all the way around. Now, if I come and sort of hover over this, you see this little arrow pointing both ways pops up. If I click on that and hold it, I can now drag that out till it meets the playhead. The playhead is magnetic. Meaning if you pull something out toward it, it wants to jump and meet the playhead. So when I got there, I didn't have to worry about like, oh, is this perfectly at the same spot as the playhead is? Because it jumps and it wants to meet the playhead. I'll show you again. So as I'm dragging it out here, well, I didn't do that. It just jumps out there and goes like, boom, I want to be right at the playhead. If I were to zoom in, you'd see like actually it didn't line up with the playhead. It lined up with the end of the music. So that was nice too, because that's exactly where I would want it to be. All right. That's a little too much. No, right there we go. So now I should have this. All right. Now, one thing you should always do. Anytime you've done a little something in your project, just go ahead and hit save. Or you can hit Control S. I do it often. In fact, while I'm editing, my fingers are usually just over here hovered over Control S. Because there's nothing quite like having done a whole shit ton of work. You've been working for a good 15, 20 minutes on something, but you haven't saved it, and then your computer decides to go kaput, or something happens, and you have to close it down, and when you reopen it, none of that work you did was there. So if you're just every now and then just hitting Control S, or reaching up here and hitting the save button. That's smart. All right. I did that so I don't lose what I just did. So that even if I accidentally close this, oh shit, well, that's okay. I can just go over here to my videos, come down here to my read aloud. Where is it? And there it is. And the work I did will still be there when it eventually opens. Eventually. All right. Maybe let me close this, because I might just have too many things going at the same time with my recording software. All right. Nope. This isn't what I wanted. I'm sorry. I want my hat back. There. See, everything we did is saved. Okay, so now a couple things though. I want my title card to fade in and fade out, just like it was when we were looking at the other version. So that's in my filters. So anytime you want to put a filter onto a particular clip of your video, you need to make sure it is the one that's selected. That's this one right here. Then I click on here on filters, on the tab that says filters. Right? Any other tab, it won't do me any good. I have to be on the filters. And up here, I've got the little plus sign. This is to add filters. Now, it's got 3 tabs up here, one called favorite, one called video, and one called audio. Your video tab will have all of the filters that specifically affect the video. The audio tab has all of the filters that specifically affect the audio. Favorite, you'll notice how there are all these like little asterisks next to each of these. Shotcut is going to already come with some favorites already selected, the ones that they think most people use. But also, as you use them, if you're like, you know what, I find myself using the Gaussian blur a lot. You click on this asterisk over here, and now it will be in your favorites. I don't want that, so I'm going to get rid of it. All right, the ones I have here that are saved as my favorites are the ones I end up using a lot. All right, and one of those is fade in video. So I'll click on that. It adds that to this. By default, it is 1 second, as you can see right here. And by default, it fades up from black. 1 second, that's all I need. And then I want to put a fade out video right there. It's also 1 second, and that's fine too. So that it gives me this. All right, but I don't want the music to do that. I want the music to just go and just end. Right? That doesn't sound great. I want it to fade out too. So I'll click on my audio. Again, make sure that I click on filters. And either over here in the audio or in my favorites, in my case, I'll come down here to fade out audio. I don't need it to fade in. I'm okay with it just sort of starting like it does, but I want it to fade out at the end. So I'll click on fade out audio. And for my taste, I like for the music to fade out a little faster than the image does. Like that doesn't feel right to me. So I'm going to change this from 1 second right here. And I'm going to highlight this portion and say 2 seconds. Because I just like this better. I don't know. Just me. You may find something else that you like. I like if the music is starting to fade and then the image fades out. All right. I'm going to hit Control S because I'm smart and I make sure that I save often. And I'm going to go back to my playlist because I need a new clip now. So there's my clip where I'm introducing the story. But there's
Well,
stuff like
everyone.
this, and you'll probably have it too, where you're like, all right, let me get set up, let me take a deep breath. Phew, I'm nervous. Okay, and then you get started. And then you'll have times when you screw up.
And today, we're going to read a book titled...
Right? It's going to happen. It just is. All right? So there's a couple of things that we can do here. Because I don't want to pull this whole thing down into the timeline. Because I got lots of stuff where I flubbed and messed up. Now, I could drag the whole thing down in and then take the playhead to the spot where the good portion begins and then split it and delete. But in this case, there's a whole lot of this clip before I finally got it right.
Everyone, my name is Mr.
Yeah, I think it's about right here. All right, so you'll notice when I've got the clip selected, there's also this bar down here that's in blue, and it has a red line around it. That is the portion of this clip that is selected. Since I don't want the entire thing, what I can do is grab this little pointer down here, and I'll scroll it down to about where my playhead was.
Hello, everyone.
There we go. That's actually very perfect. Now, there might be a little bit at the end to trim off, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I'll trim that off once I've got it down here. So now I can literally click on the video itself and drag it and put it right there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Jason.
All right. And then down here,
Lost hat. Let's check it out.
all right, I don't want this little bit where I'm trying to like turn the camera off and everything. Where I'm controlling it with my computer, which is why I'm looking down here doing that. I just kind of want it to fade out after I say, let's check it out. So maybe about there. Because it looks like I'm looking down at the book ready to read. So I'll right click on this, split it at the playhead, and delete out that portion.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Jason.
Now me, I want that to fade in just like the clip before it faded out. You might not. You might be perfectly fine with that fade out and then boom, jumping in. And that's fine. But in my case, I want to fade this in and fade it out again. So I'm going to go to my filters. I'm going to fade it in. And fade out. So that I can get this.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Jason. I hope you're having a good day. Today,
And
let's check it out.
Fading out. All right. Now, I go back to my playlist and get my reading portion, which I'm just going to grab the whole thing because there's very little on it that I would need to trim off. I'll put it right here. In fact, I don't think I have to trim off anything from the beginning. No. All right. What I will do, I think, is maybe pull it away from that a little bit because I'd like to have at least a little moment where the screen is just black before it fades in. Then I'm going to take this and fade it in. So fade in video.
The end.
And actually, I don't think I need to trim anything off the end of it. So I'm going to have it fade out. Fade out video right there. All right. I'm going to save it. So, go back to my playlist. I have this, right? My forest sounds. So, I'm going to want them to come in at some point. Uh-oh, what did I do? I think we're okay. It did a weird jump there, and I thought maybe I accidentally clicked on something I didn't mean to. All right, so let's say about there is where I want my forest sounds to come in. So I'm going to grab this, drag it down here.
My hat is gone. I want it back. Have you seen my hat?
Now, let's say, one, that I want that to fade in because it just kind of just like starts very instantly.
My
It's not
hat.
bad, but I think I still will put a fade in on it. So with that selected, I'm going to go in here and say fade in audio. Where is it? There it is. And then I think it's a little bit loud.
I want it back.
It's not so bad there, but like there's a spot where the wind picks up in the audio.
Have you seen my hat?
And I don't think I want this to be quite that loud. I just want it to be kind of underneath what I'm reading. So if you ever have something that you feel is too loud, then you can come up here to your filters. And there's this one right here called gain and volume. And I can turn this up or down by degrees. I'm going to say it doesn't need to go down a whole lot. Maybe just by about -5 decibels.
Have you seen my hat?
Yeah, and I can say, all right, I'm cool. I'm happy with that. All right, now this doesn't cover the full length of my reading, so I would have to add more and more in. But rather than going through all that right now, where's my read along folder? There it is, read aloud. The end result then is this. Also, I think with what's left of class after we watch this, we'll go back to working on this, since I know everybody's got that. So we'll spend our last few minutes of class. I'll show you a couple of things there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Jason. I hope you're having a good day. Today, I would like to read for you a book that my daughter and I enjoy reading together, titled I Want My Hat Back by John.
It's like a weird sound and video not syncing, but it's because it's going through the projector.
John Klassen. It's a particularly amusing little story of a bear on a quest to find his lost hat. Let's check it out. My hat is gone. I want it back. Have you seen my hat? No. I haven't seen your hat. No. Okay. Thank you anyway. Have you seen my hat? No. I have not seen any hats around here. Okay. Thank you anyway. Have you seen my hat? No. Why are you asking me? I haven't seen it. I haven't seen hats anywhere. I would not steal a hat. Don't ask me more questions. Okay. Thank you anyway. Have you seen my hat? I haven't seen anything all day. I've been trying to climb this rock. Would you like me to lift you on top of it? Yes, please. Have you seen my hat? I saw it once. It was blue.
I don't know why. I just decided the snake needed to talk like that.
And round. My hat doesn't look like that. Thank you anyway. Have you seen my hat?
What is a hat?
Thank you anyway. Nobody has seen my hat. What if I never see it again? What if nobody ever finds it? My poor hat. I miss it so much. Well, what's the matter? I have lost my hat, and nobody has seen it. What does your hat look like? It is red and pointy and I have seen my hat.
And knowing that I was going to put that sound effect in there, I didn't know what the sound effect would be. I searched around for it, and we'll talk about finding sound effects eventually. So I made sure to pause right there.
You stole my hat. I love my hat.
Excuse me, have you seen a rabbit wearing a hat?
No. Why are you asking me? I haven't seen him. I haven't seen any rabbits anywhere. I would not eat a rabbit. Don't ask me any more questions.
Okay. Thank you anyway.
The end. What do you think happened to that rabbit? Yeah, I think so too. You know, reading this book, I really do sympathize with the bear. I mean, have you ever lost something that was really important to you and couldn't find it? Yeah. What would you do if you then found out that someone had deliberately stolen it from you? Do you think the bear in our story did the right thing? How would you have handled it? Well, thank you for reading with me today. Really enjoyed our time together, and I hope we can do this again soon. Take care. Bye.
All right. So when you're making your own recordings, and it might be a good idea to do that over the weekend, remember that you've got 3 separate recordings you need to make. You need to make a recording of your intro, where you're going to introduce the book. Like I told you, for that, I want you to appear on camera. I want you to be the one who does that. Then the recording of your reading. Or if you're going to bring in someone else to help with that, or if you're going to have people who help you with the different voices, what have you, right? You need a recording of that. And then lastly, a closing video where you wrap things up and you ask at least a couple of questions to your audience. All right, so I think what I'll do real quick is, instead of coming back to the the title card, since you have your laptops open, here's what I want you to do. Open up your web browser. Is it incompetech.com? No. Here it is. It is. Why did it search it instead of... Okay. All right. Right here. I would type this into your browser, incompetech.com. Is that a sneeze? Oh, okay. I didn't want to let a sneeze go by without a bless you. All right. Incompetech. This is a website that has royalty-free music, free to download. All the people who've made the music are cool with you using it for videos. If you do grab some music from here, it will, and if you upload it to YouTube, it will say, could you please just at least type this little attribution into your description. So, like, let me see. Here's the search bar. So let's say I were searching for electronic music. Maybe electronica, right? Type that in. And it's going to give me a bunch of different things here. Electronica, among others. Go away. Where there are a few songs here. These ones that are in blue. Click on one. It's called Killing Time. Oh, it's a bunch of different songs. It was an album. Okay, cool. So now I can click on any one of these to listen to it. I want an electronica song, so I'm going to go with Dreamcatcher here. You see it plays in a little player down here. So if I wanted that, I can click here to download it. And like it says right here, it says if you use it in a video on, like on YouTube, at least if you put this into the description, they would be happy if you do that at least. Right? Kevin MacLeod, even if you don't go to Incompetech, if you go looking for any of his music, the dude just makes music for just people to just use. I don't know how he makes any money off of it, but that's what he does. He's been doing it for years now. So I can click to download this. It's going to just download it straight to my downloads folder. Of course, the Wi-Fi wants to be slow in this room. Well, while that downloads, what I would do if I were in your shoes is bookmark the Incompetech website so that you can get back to it very easily. You don't have to try to remember, like, what was that website Jason told me about? You can just, if you've got it as a bookmark, you can always go back to it. Okay, now here it is. It finally opened up. It finally downloaded, rather. So there it is in my downloads folder. I have my folder for the class right here. I'll just grab that out of my downloads folder and put it right in here, making it so much easier for me to just grab all of this and put it into my Shotcut file as I'm working. All right? Then, if you're looking for any sound effects, if all you want in yours is just music, that's fine. But if you want to spice it up with some sound effects, whatever kind of sound effect you might be interested in, we'll type that in up here. I don't know. Let's say I need an explosion. All right? Type in what you need. Type in sound effect. And then type in free. Because you don't want the ones that they're going to ask you to pay for. All right? There are lots of different sound effects websites. You want one that is either not going to, you want one that's not going to charge, plain and simple. You also want it to not ask you to subscribe in order to download. I don't want anybody to have to do that. So let's see. It says download free explosion sound effects on Mixkit. I think Mixkit might be one. Yeah, they're one that asks you for a subscription. Let's see about Zapsplat. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to. All right, so I could play each of these. And let's say that's the one I want. Like, all right, cool. I'll click over here on the MP3. Nope, it does ask for me to. Okay, so there again is one to avoid. Don't go to one that says you got to sign up. This doesn't look like it will because I see the download buttons here. Let's see. Let's say, yep, that's exactly the one I want. So I click over here on download MP3 and boom, there it is. I'd open up that folder, my downloads folder, and I drag this right on into my folder for the class. So there's what I would suggest you do with your time over the weekend. Record these videos and download any music and or sound effects that you're interested in using for your video, right? That way on Monday, we can talk about either one. I can sort of feel out how you guys, what you guys might need help with, and we can either work some more on how to edit the video, or we could work some more on creating that title card. Because I did some things with my title card since we were working in class. I added this little read aloud icon and rotated it because that's something I'm going to show you how to do. And I wanted something nature-y. So I found this thing down here that I stuck in as well. And you'll notice that the background isn't just one color. It has a gradient. So we're going to talk about all of those things at some point as well. All right? Questions about anything today? Okay. Once you just shoot some video, you can always dive into Shotcut and just play around and see what you can do. Even if the thing that you end up doing is not what you turn in for the class. That's okay. Better to get some practice and be ready for it. Because as you may have seen, it's the last thing I'll say and then we'll get out of here. You may have noticed with all of your stuff in one place and just a little bit of know-how, because I'm no genius of video editing, I assure you, I'd only been working on it for a few minutes and I had quite a bit in the timeline. Right? It was down to just kind of like putting some sound effects in and putting in the closing at the end. Once you have everything ready to go, this is a very quick process of actually getting the video edited. Right? Take care. Have a good weekend. I'll see you all on Monday.